This is a brisket, and this is an electric grill. And can you smoke a brisket on an electric grill? Let's find out. Oh.
Big thanks to Napoleon Grills for sponsoring this episode.
Yes, it's time for another crazy experiment. Everybody knows I love my brisket, but also everybody knows I like to do some crazy experimenting. And this time, I might be going a little bit too far. Because you and me are going to figure out if we can smoke a brisket on this electric grill. But there are some features in this barbecue that tell me that looks can be deceiving. One of the main thing is an on button. Of course, it's electric. But look at this. We got a smoker button. And that menu tells me that this thing can smoke. I have a beautiful local grown brisket with a nice amount of intermuscular fat, and that means a juicy and tasty brisket. First thing that I'm going to do is trim off the excess fat. Because especially in an electric barbecue, I don't expect too much airflow, and therefore I won't be needing all the fat to keep the brisket moist. Look at that, what a beauty. And now we really expose the intermuscular fat on this brisket. It really has some potential. We got a big lean piece here, right here, but this is really thin. So I'm gonna see if we can trim down the brisket a little further to get rid of the two thin pieces, because I think we're better off with an even cook on our brisket than with the most amount of meat. So I'm just gonna go in and get rid of everything that is just too thin. Don't worry, we're not throwing this away. This is good for burgers. As you can see, now we at least have our finger thick instead of like a half a finger. Of course, we're gonna go Texas style on this brisket, and I'll be using the Pitmaster's Texas seasoning. I wanna get a nice bark on the brisket, so I'm gonna go all in on the seasoning, give it a little tap, and then we're gonna do the sides. Because we just spend the time cutting the sides, we also have to take the time to season the sides. Let's flip this around to the other side. The brisket's now ready to go on the barbecue, so I'm gonna set it aside while we are going to take a closer look at this electric smoker, or grill, or barbecue. If you look at the functions and the options that you have, this thing can do everything. It even has a cleaning function. First of all, let's switch it on. It's going to start up and it's going to tell me you might want to preheat this barbecue. It's built like a gas grill, and gas grills are built to ventilate as much as possible, because basically they don't like gas build up in the grill. But this is an electric barbecue, and that makes it a lot safer. Then we get the menu. We got oven, cook, smoke, clean, and we got loads of settings. For now, I'm just gonna go for smoking. And it tells me what temperature do you want this barbecue at, and how much smoke do you want. Well, the smoke is created inside the chamber, because underneath the grill grates, we find a dedicated smoker box. And all I need to do is fill this smoker box up with smoke wood. Napoleon has their own dedicated flavor profiles of smoke wood. I recommend using small wood chips, and don't worry about making the wood chips wet, because in this smoker box the flames die down and it's going to give us smoke. If you take a close look, you see the spiral right here. Well, that is the heating element for the barbecue, and that is where the smoker box goes. I'm going to slide the grill grate back, and my guess is we're not going to need the warming rack, so I'll take that out. And then all I have to do is take the brisket and put it on the opposite side of the smoker box. And keep in mind, that's about 5 kilograms. This barbecue has thermometers that come with it. So all I need to do is just stick this into the thickest part of the brisket, then I can close the lid, and now I can fire up this barbecue. So let's set it up to smoke at a temperature of 120 degrees Celsius with a high amount of smoke. If you know one or two things about barbecue and smoking briskets, you might have noticed that there are some threats for this experiment to become a success. One of the things is that we got heating elements at the bottom of the briskets. That might mean that the brisket is going to cook faster at the bottom than at the top. Also, there's no shield from the radiation heat from the heating elements. And another point is that we might run out of smoke too soon. I just got the notification that the grill has reached the target temperature, and I'm already going to check to see if things are going well or if we're going too fast. You can see the heating elements, they're glowing red hot. Let's close the lid back up again. This is a problem, and I probably should have listened to the instructions to heat up the grill first. Because this barbecue has so much power, it's going to take the temperature of the grill up so fast that I might be roasting that brisket already. But since that we now have reached that temperature, I'm thinking about just leaving it for just a little bit, maybe 10 minutes or so, and see what happens next. We're now about 5 minutes in, and as you can see, we got plenty of smoke coming out of the barbecue. Look at it go. It's 10 minutes gone by. I would love to check the bottom of this brisket. And I can see that I am getting some grill marks on the bottom of this brisket. So I have a choice to make. Either I'm going to trust the process and hope that things will be fine. I still think the smart move is going to be to take some aluminum foil and to use that foil boat method. It's always this little sticker. There we go. If you're cooking Texas brisket, you gotta think like a Texan. Bigger is better. Let's go. I'm gonna make this a double layered foil boat. Like that. And if you want to do this at home, then keep in mind that I'm using extra professional grade thick aluminum foil. I can actually hear that sizzle. That's no bueno. Let's go. Let's close the lid again. And then we're going to roll up the sides, get it nice and snug, but not too snug. I want the smoke air to get as close as at the brisket as I possibly can. All right, this now goes back in. We're now smoking for about an hour, and I can see that the smoke is starting to slowly fade. So I want to check in, see how our brisket's doing. Ooh, that is looking pretty good. We got a little bit of moisture at the bottom of the aluminum foil, which means we're cooking hard, contracting the muscle, expelling a lot of moisture. We got a little bit of smoke color popping up on the brisket. That is always good. I really would love to see that mahogany color at the bottom. And we're definitely running out of smoke wood. So let's take off that grill grate. That's definitely almost all the way gone. Hardly any smoke left. Time to replenish this. And I might as well not put the grill grates back on because I'm not using them. And it's going to give me better access to the smoke box. And I think we can keep the settings as they are because we got the temperature, we got smoke. It's going a little faster than I'm used to, but I think the chances for the brisket are increasing. We've had 3.5 hours of smoke, and now, whoa, we have what appears to be a brisket. Look at that beautiful bark. That is really starting to look good. But the looks may be good, it's not done with cooking yet. So my plan now is to stop working on appearances and start focusing on getting it perfect, tender and juicy. And to get that result, I'm going to take the whole foil boat, just like that. Put it in aluminum foil and cover it up. I'm going to make sure I'm going to get a good seal. Normally I would say putting it in butcher's paper would be a good option. However, we have a lot of radiation heat coming from the bottom, and I just want to make sure that we get a good watertight seal, an airtight seal, and get this brisket locked in with its own juices. For the setup of the barbecue, I'm going to change it. I'm going to switch from smoking and stop, go home, and I'm going to use it as an oven. I'm going to lower the temperature to a brisket in. I'm going to stick that thermometer in again, and now I'm just going to let it sit until it reaches the core temperature that I'm looking for. I didn't expect this, but we're now 6 hours and 20 minutes into the cook, and the brisket is done. 6 hours are rather fast, normally speaking, but hey, when the temperature reading says it's done, and then you probe it and it's done, and it's done. I'm just going to let this sit for about 2 hours until I open it up, because that is the minimum time that I would use to rest the brisket. And then, see you in 2 hours. Electric grills are crazy convenient. Time for the big reveal. Can you actually cook a brisket on an electric grill? Ooh, tension is high. Oh. Of course, I know why it looks so good. We put a lot of effort in, but how? So good. How did the bottom do? Let's check the bottom. See, it's a little bit more intense on the bottom than it is on the top, but I am super happy with this result. Super happy. Look at that. That is one beautiful looking brisket to me. Let's make sure we don't waste any of these juices that we got. Ooh, look at that. All right, you ready for this? Let's go. Electric brisket, first slice, smooth like butter. All right, without further ado, that is an extremely nice and juicy brisket. There's a little less smoke in than I expected. Look at this. That is a good brisket, guys. That is a really good brisket. Look at that bark. We got a beautiful bark. We don't have much smoke ring, but look at how the fat beautifully rendered out from the meat. This is really good. I'm gonna split up the point and the flat here. Let's get a slice out of this. Wow, beautifully tender. Whoa, wowzers. That is good on an electric barbecue. Here we go, guys. Oh, wowee. The missus says it's a really, really good brisket. I didn't expect it to be this good. I expected it to be, well, a reasonably good brisket. But I didn't know if I could make a brisket on an electric barbecue. Well, it's more of a grill than a barbecue, but now you see you can. And for it being this good, oh, the brisket is beautiful, it's juicy, it's tender. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. See you guys next time. Until then, eet smakelijk and keep on grilling.